Your Honors, thank you for this opportunity. On behalf of the European Network on Debt and Development, Eurodad, and as part of the Civil Society Financing for Development Group and the Women's Working Group on FFD, I want to use this opportunity to share our concerns on the implications for global governance of some of the proposals of the Our Common Agenda report, particularly regarding the global economic and financial architecture of the FFD process. The systemic weaknesses of international sovereign debt architecture have been laid bare by the COVID-19 pandemic. The limitations of ad hoc instruments agreed by the G20, the DSSI, and the Common Framework to deliver on a timely, comprehensive, and fair debt resolution for countries in debt distress are indisputable, not only for civil society, but even to institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, and the UN agencies, including UNDESA and UNCTAD. These limitations are a striking example of how leaving debt architecture discussions in the hands of a reduced number of countries, mainly lenders, where the global south, borrowers, are in clear minority, is a guarantee for failure to address the profound reform of the international financial architecture that the world needs. In front of the urgency to tackle the insufficiencies and inadequacies of the existing sovereign debt architecture, the Secretary General report, Our Common Agenda, proposes a process to resolve long-standing weaknesses of the international debt architecture through the biennial summit, with the participation of the G20, the ECOSOC, Secretary General himself, and the heads of the IFIs. This proposal, however, is deeply concerning. The world does not need a process that further reinforces the role of lender-dominated forums like the G20 or the IFIs. Instead, the United Nations, with a core mandate to address critical global issues, and the fact that it is neither a creditor nor a debtor, is the only inclusive and democratic space that has the legitimacy and the competence to discuss and agree a multilateral legal framework to prevent and provide lasting multilateral solutions to sovereign debt crisis. We call, therefore, on member states to support a meaningful, inclusive, and democratic process of consensus building on reform toward establishing a multilateral debt resolution framework under the auspices of the UN, and that would comprehensively address unsustainable and illegitimate debts. We understand that the FFD process is already mandated to address these challenges on sovereign debt, without looking at the issue in silos, but as interconnected with other systemic issues, such as tax, trade, regulation of financial sector, including regulation of credit rating agencies, to ensure that countries in the global south have the fiscal and policy space to address their development challenges. We therefore call for a fourth Financing for Development conference, precisely as we mark the 20th anniversary since the first international conference on FFD held in Monterrey, Mexico on March 2002. A new FFD conference under the auspices of the UN remains the only place where developing countries are at the decision table with equal voice and vote about global economic governance matters that profoundly shape their economies and societies. Thank you very much.